A live stream. Super random. Let me just close that door. A little bit late. See if we have anybody join us this time of the day. Pop out the chat. Hey, there we go. Damien. Kajak, nice to see you. It's going well. Well, this is a new time. Yeah, I know. I slept in. What can I say? It's winter. You have hair, my dude. I know. Yeah. John, nice to see you. Michael, Kairos. Adam Superdog, nice to see you. What's the subject? Today, the subject is dragons, because I am working on my remastered Red Dragon video with all of the questions that everybody asked me in the comment section, or in the community tab, which I'm trying to slot in there as best I can, which makes it a really wandering, meandering sort of video. But I cover a lot of different topics, like the Red Dragon relationship with the Githyanki, how they interact with kobolds, what their lairs are like, what the life cycle of dragons is like. How can humanoids live in a world with dragons, and all sorts of different topics, like what their loot's made up of and all that sort of stuff. So it's way, way, way more in depth than my first dragon video on red dragons. And I think red dragons are really, really important because they're synonymous with D&D. I mean, they're the mascot of Dungeons and Dragons. Everybody who started playing the Red Box basic set and stuff, red dragons is what, you know, what they associate with it. Hello, Adrianeth. Hello, Tigeris. Hello, Crown Meat. Mark. Timothy. Squirtle Squad. Christopher. YouTube Dad. Hello. Yeah, you should be pumped for this video. It's already about 7,000 words in, so it's going to be a substantial one. I haven't edited. I don't even know if I will edit it down, honestly. Somebody asked me if I'm going to split it into 2 videos. I was like, nah. If people are there to learn about red dragons from me, they're there for the full story. So I figure, you know, they're in for a long play. Barmut and Terramat, yep, definitely play a part in that video. Dragon politics. It's 3 AM. Why do you live in the opposite of Eurocentric Western world? Yeah, I know. Well, it's 1:11 PM here, so it's like afternoon for me. Morning, Theo. What about a setting where dragons used to be widespread but were hunted to near extinction for similar uses as the Chinese poaching trade, John? Yeah, you could certainly do that. I usually involve dragons in my settings. I just do. Actually, I have made one world setting where there isn't dragons, but I haven't played that world setting yet. Welcome to Silver Dragon, Adam Superdog. Hey, Mike. Jeremy. It's easy for the humans to survive because all the bards working to prevent population decline. True. Do dragons enjoy alcohol? Yes, they do. They don't get drunk from it, but they certainly enjoy it. Although, I often rule, like, if you need your dragon to get drunk in order to do something in your story, then dragons get drunk. Thanks, Comic Nut. Just wanted to say I'm still playing Dark Alliance. Also, could you put dragon turtles in a non-aquatic setting? Yeah, certainly. Yeah, for sure. Just have them basically like the Zaratan, like a big, massive, lumbering turtle-backed dragon on the land, like a dragon tortoise, you could say. Thanks for the reminder. This is a super chat enabled live stream that I use to generate revenue and answer all your questions. And yeah, I played an hour and a half of Dark Alliance so far. I'm going to play a little bit more of it this afternoon. And I was playing solo as Bruno Battlehammer, just learning the ropes of the the combat style and stuff like that, and I actually quite enjoyed it. Yes, the game's definitely got a lot of bugs. Yes, it needs to be patched. Yes, it was probably released too early. But I don't think any of those bugs really prevent the game from being enjoyable. And I've certainly paid more money for worse games in my time. No Man's Sky, for one thing. But I'm still playing No Man's Sky because they patched it and it's really good now. Hey, Ed. Tigeris, British Aussies and Kiwis pronounce my name right. Americans do it with a soft G. Weird, given that there's not any rules or any. Yeah, no, I don't know. A soft G. Tieras? I don't know. Dragons and Giants, which is more fun? I think Dragons, as a Dungeon Master, Dragons are a lot of fun. Giants are more interesting because they've got like that. Humanoids expect them to be sort of a little bit humanoid, you know? Red NZ Blue renamed his channel to Detect Magic, yes. He is full-time employed now and very happy and running lots of games and stuff and incredibly busy, so he's not updating his videos at the moment, which I'm sad about. Teenage Mutant Dragon Turtles, yeah. You ever played the original 3 Spyro the Dragon video games? No, I have not. The enemy includes Norks, gnome hybrids, Rhinox, Rhinomen, and dinosaurs led by a wizard dinosaur. Cool. What game is good on release these days? I know, right? Needs a patch, yeah, it needs a patch. So if you are able to play it for free on Game Pass on PS3 or whatever it is, do so. But otherwise, unless you're somebody who has money to spend on games that possibly need patching, yeah, I would wait and pick up Dark Alliance a little bit later. No, quite a few people have mentioned the Omni-Man look. I actually made myself an Omni-Man t-shirt, but it looks terrible, so I'm not going to wear it. It's not a good design. Ah, Ed, that is a question that I answer as well. How do dragons carry their treasure hoard to their caves? They have a lot of minions in the form of winged kobolds and kobolds who do that for them, mostly. But also they are able to swallow a large amount of it and regurgitate it. Because dragons are pretty good at regurgitating stuff. That's how they breathe fire. Yeah, Dark Alliance needs a little bit of time to ripen, yeah, you could say. Thanks, Morgan. Your thoughts on the Grim Hollow setting? I have heard that it's very good. I have not read it or seen much about it, so I can't give my opinion on it, but I have heard good things about it. Is Traveller still a thing? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You just finished Invincible an hour ago. So good. Yeah, I know. I'm going to be rocking this moustache until the next season. AJ is an alien. I knew it. Well, I mean, I live so far away from you, I might as well be on the moon. Hey, Disonic Yod. Hey, Douse. What's the most unusual or fun breath weapon you think any type of dragon has out there? Probably the amber dragon, like spewing a glob of amber is really cool. And the yellow dragon with its breath weapon is just absolutely terrifying. AJ is a Viltrumite confirmed. Thought on favourite lesser dragon types? I'm always a fan of the Wyvern, because they can't really be reasoned with. It's like you're facing off against a primordial predator. I also answered the question of dragon lineage and what is a lot of people ask me, are red dragons the original dragon, and did all the other dragons branch off from that? And the answer is no. They all branched off from wyverns, or a precursor of the wyvern named the Eo dragon, the Eo Draco. Most famous red dragon in D&D campaigns. Ooh, Ashardalon's pretty famous. Cloth is also pretty famous. And just in general, I would say Smaug from Lord of the Rings is a famous red dragon. Although he's more like a red-black dragon. I don't know. Any wyvern dinosaur crossbreed in that lineage. So from 2nd edition, in the 2nd edition Draconomicon, they talk about basically dragons being naturally evolved from dinosaurs. So they talk about 10 million or 30 million years ago, fossil record and stuff like that. You'll notice in editions past that, dragons are something that came to the world. So they're seen as an otherworldly, supernatural thing, not a natural creature of the prime material plane sort of thing. So there was a big paradigm shift between 2nd edition and 3rd edition as to where dragons came from, and the lineage of dragons on Toril differs completely from Draconomicon 1 and the 2nd Draconomicon for the next edition. So I don't really address that because I don't want to confuse everybody about which is the right lore, the 2nd edition or the 3rd edition, because basically when they come up with lore that sort of supersedes it in a more sort of fantasy way, I generally go with that. Are we not all aliens, Miller? We possibly are. Dragons are alien life forms, but they're also native to the prime material plane, and they are more primordial than they are celestial. Like, they don't have souls, they have essence, which is another thing I talk about in the video. But there's a lot of topics that I touch on in the video which I need to make additional videos about because they're very big topics. Amber bubbles filled with hydrogen. It would make sense that wyverns lost their legs from an earlier evolutionary ancestor of dragons. Well, so the thing with wyverns is they still follow the body plan of a normal creature, like a pterodactyl, for instance, has got the same amount of limbs as a wyvern does. And the Game of Thrones dragons, for instance, are wyverns. They're not true dragons per se, but wyverns don't breathe fire, but the Euro Draco did. And they had the same sort of limb arrangement, I think. But the Euro Draco quickly developed additional limbs, which is quite a massive mutation when you think about it. So it seems like there was a period where the Euro Draco was an evolution of dinosaurs that developed the ability to burp up digestive gases, and then it was essentially manipulated and bred to be a war machine in a war of the gods and primordials, and that's where the first dragons came from. But that also correlates with the fall of the Tears of Saloon. So there was the Tear Fall, and that was where the true dragons basically popped up. So whether they came with the Tears of Saloon and are in fact alien to the world of Toril, or in fact the Tears of Saloon marks the period of the epoch of gods basically destroying the surface of the planet and fighting each other, and dragons evolving out of that as weapons, that seems probably more likely to me. Chazar, yeah, there's Chazar as well. Do we have a whale dragon? Not really. Imagine a setting that was a mashup of Elder Scrolls and Fallout, the ghoul dragons with radioactive blast breath. Thanks, Andrianeth. Chaos Dragon random D100 results are always fun, because it can backfire. Oops. Even the dragon depends on limbo. Even in the dragon depends on limbo, because it can backfire. Even in the dragon depends on limbo. I'm always in favour of random roll tables, that's for sure. Oh, did Josh do Bahamut on Arcane Forge? Nice. I've yet to see that one. Lithium Dragon, nice. What do dragons think of Dragonborn? I know they're not true offspring of dragons like half-dragons. Yeah, so that's another interesting topic that I talk about in the video, because the origin of Dragonborn thematically... Come on then. The origin of Dragonborns thematically is that they were servants of Bahamut. They choose to serve Bahamut. Don't smooch the microphone. Don't smooch the microphone. Yeah, it's in your bed. And they converted from a humanoid to a Dragonborn. So you originally had Dragonborn that looked like elves and humans and dwarves and stuff like that, which explained why Dragonborn had boobs, for instance, because they were originally mammals and they retained those features. But then Dragonborn became a race in and of themselves that bred true and no longer had to be servants of Bahamut. So I like that. I prefer that. I think the original idea of Dragonborn being dedicated to Bahamut totally and it all being about Tiamat and Bahamut was too restrictive for a player character class. And it also heavily influenced how dragons thought about the Dragonborn. So now the Dragonborn are just like, it's okay. They don't mind that there are draconic entities in the humanoid population. They don't mind there's dragon-blooded sorcerers. They don't mind that there's half-dragons. They don't mind that there's Dragonborn, that sort of thing. It's natural and normal for them to have draconic beings around them of different types. The draconic ecosystem. So they don't really treat Dragonborn a hell of a lot differently from any other humanoid. They like kobolds because kobolds like them. If Dragonborn like them and treat them like the kobolds treat them, then they would like the Dragonborn a lot more, obviously. Morgan, thank you. What super powerful beings have souls? Gods technically have souls. They have a collection of souls. They're a gestalt of different souls. A lot of other things have essence, like demons have essence, and elementals have elemental spirit. Krakens have souls, I suppose. But basically, most biological creatures have souls, you could say. Wait, so I'm a weapon? Yes. Mike, Rhetoric, the entertainer, thank you very much. Hey, AJ, sending my party to Ravnica, mainly Simic based. What do you think I should introduce Gruul Ogre? What? Dudes! Please, I can't understand these sentences. Hey AJ, sending my party to Ravnica, okay, based mostly Simic based. So your story is Simic based. What do you think I should do to introduce some Gruul ogres? Oh, okay. Well, they're vandals, right? Vandals. So they could just be like they might be a revolutionary outfit that thinks that Simic experimentation on biological forms is like bad, so they could be like the brute Peter, who are invading the labs to smash up everything and end up releasing horrible Simic hybrids onto the populace, and then take advantage of the chaos to loot. I might not be understanding your question. What about a dragon that carries its horde as a type of magical armor that fuses its wealth into accessories that can be interchanged with other Well, yeah. Dragons probably wouldn't risk their horde in that way. But dragons are quirky, you know. Radioactive dragon, you mean Godzilla, yeah. Yeah, typo gremlins, I know. Geryon, yeah, I've got to make a video about Geryon and all the other lords of the Nine Hells. Bree is chilling. She's chilling out. Hang on, we'll swap over temporarily to the other video camera here. Swap over to Bree cam. Maybe. We'll see if this works. Just a second. OBS. There she is. Bree. This is Bree, everybody. She's just been outside. Right, back to chat. Robert, thank you. Hey AJ, do you think that the new TSR will create a new set of dragons for their giant land setting and expect? Okay, TSR and Ernie Gygax basically just decided to post a bunch of stuff that was very, very problematic as far as I know. I've yet to go and see what he was talking about or posting, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be supporting the new TSR or the new TSR at all. Like, at all. Even mentioning them. So, yeah. Because he's pretty much drawn a line in the sand and said that, like, he's the OSR, old school, grognard, women shouldn't play the game, blah, 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 blah. And that's the crowd that he wants to attract. Fine. That's the crowd that I do not want to have anything to do with. So, the new TSR can piss off as far as I'm concerned. If that's his attitude. Like, to the point that his own brother sort of distances himself somewhat, that's worrying in the extreme. Thanks to the DM. Ooh, John, that's nasty. A hybrid of dragon, maggot, and spider that breathes a cloud of flesh-eating, fly-faced winged nurglings. That sounds like something you would find in the Abyss. Juju Bear. Oh, that's interesting. My D&D setting is influenced by animism, so pretty much everything, even inanimate objects, have souls in my world. Jester dude, what? You're my glob? What does that mean? Hey, Mikey. What is your favourite monster and a good monster to throw at a party of 5 level 15 characters? Well, dragons are a pretty good choice. Depends on where they are, really. Are they at sea or on land, in mountains, in a different plane of existence? Things like lots of like little pesky things that they're not expecting, like ethereal felchers and things like that. And doppelgangers are always good, because then it's like, we've got all this power, but where is our enemy? You know, like, as soon as we discover the enemy, we can deal with the enemy, but in the meantime, so make it a little bit more, like, make them think about what they're doing. Because at level 15, they should be involved in politics, probably. Or people will expect them to be leaders and builders of the world around them. Like, level 15 characters going off and adventuring in dungeons is a little bit irresponsible for somebody with their power and reputation, you know. Yeah, please don't use push to talk. I can't understand your questions when they're like that. Yeah, Dragon Fear used to be such a strong influence on the game that in 2nd edition Draconomicon, the dragons have a spell that quells and subdues their Dragon Fear. So they actually have to cast a spell to stop it, instead of like just being able to willingly stop it like they can nowadays, apparently. Dragons have got their own forms of magic. One of the forms of magic that is emulated by humans, but dragons first came up with it, is Mage Hand. Because dragons needed to have a spell which would allow them to manipulate objects with a fine degree of dexterity, and their massive claws didn't allow them to do that. So it makes sense, no-brainer, that they would make a spell that allowed them to do that. And the humans went, oh, we could use that too. And they also have a lot of other spells which are designed to make very, very, very deadly traps. Like Death Door, for instance, is a trap spell that dragons can cast. And it's tricky because wizards may not necessarily have ever encountered it before, because it's draconic magic. They don't get taught how to make Death Door. And yeah, it's nasty. It's like save or die magic when the dragons are concerned. This chat is clearly not updating. Whoa! There we go. Morgan, thank you. What level is a Warlord Titan? That's a good question. Is that from like 4th edition? Are you talking about Titans as in like the giant humanoid Titans? You're scared of shades in D&D? Well, I'm going to be doing a Shadow Demon video coming up very soon. Thanks for getting pestered relentlessly by a very good, loyal member of the YouTube community. Yeah, so TSR, the new iteration of TSR is going to be doing stuff like bringing back Metamorphosis Alpha and Star Frontiers and things like that. I don't know. Personally, I'm very worried about the damage that that sort of attitude could do to the industry, because it's divisive, right? It's like politics. Hey, Crowmeat, welcome to Bronze Dragon. Warhammer 40k Warlord Titan. Oh, good grief. So it's a massive construct. So I would say look at Vonendod from D&D history. So it's a massive golem, essentially, is how you would run it. So look at the Shield Guardian or Shield Golem, and make it bigger, much bigger and worse. So yeah, Warlord Titan would be not even a monster, it's a location. So a Warlord Titan is an adventuring location where you don't take on the Warlord Titan personally as a monster. What you do is you take on parts of it as challenges, as puzzles, and have it like populated by tech priests and skull servitors and things like that you have to fight through to get to the particular part to disable its weapon or, you know, whatever. That's how I would handle a Warhammer 40k Warlord Titan, massive walking robot monster. Red Dragon's favourite meal is a nice tasty princess, actually. They like youthful humanoid flesh. That's what they like to eat. That's their favourite. I mean, it's right there in folklore. It's confirmed. That's what they prefer to eat. John, you are just full of them today. Skinless, wingless, cornate dragons that vomit boiling blood that burns the skin off and renders targets murderously enraged for days. I love it. That is awesome. They probably want to market off the divisiveness. Yep. So essentially they're blaring the horn for all the grognards to come flocking to their banner, hoping that they will support their thing. But it's not going to work. They've automatically just cut off the majority of their market. And if they want to keep their business really small and nasty, that's exactly how you do it. So I'm not going to support that shit. No way. So Hobbit Princess would be perfect, yeah. The Road Dragon's favourite meal is you, yeah. Douse, if and when a 6th edition happens, what changes or features would you like to see? I'm not entirely sure we're going to get a 6th edition, honestly. I would say as I've said many times, I think before we see a 6th edition, we'll see a compendium of 5th edition rules pop out. Actually, what did I just buy the other day? Oh, no, that's the War Captain's compendium for Spelljammer, completing my Spelljammer collection. Here it is. This is the Rules Cyclopedia for D&D Basic. So this came out basically at the end of D&D Basic era. So this marked the death knell of D&D Basics time, which was a glorious time. Hey, Sir William. We're talking about lots of different things. Red Dragons, Dungeons and Dragons in general. We're talking about the new TSR and how it's going to be awful. What else did I get? Oh yeah, I've been confirmed as a writer contributor for the third volume in the Through the Veil series. You'll remember that those of you who are on my Discord server will have seen that I was the writer for the foreword for the second edition of this book, and the foreword writer for this first edition of this book is Jordan from the PH is Silent, Jordan. I also got Powers and Pantheons because it's just full of stuff. This is like the difference between new editions and old editions. Look at all that dense text. Look at all that info. It's just like a few little black and white images and tons of info. I got Uncaged Faces of Sickle, full of Tony Delaterre's awesome artwork. Beautiful. So, adding to my book collection. Standscape. Are there any dragon capitalists? They're all capitalists, really. But the only thing they're interested in building is their own venture capital. How do you feel about people playing different human ethnicities, Mike? I don't have any feeling on how people play their own games. Do what you want. The Ordning is gone, yeah. So that's got to do with the Storm King's Thunder storyline, and Anam basically being upset that humans dealt with Tiamat and the giants did not. So that was like their opportunity to prove themselves to Anam, and he went, "You blew it. You blew it. So you're on your own now. I cast you out." What do I think about Mystara's Hollow World setting? I'm in favour of it. Another book. What is this about a new TSR? Well, Ernie Gygax has decided that he's come very hard down on the side of the grognards and the worst elements of the D&D community. That consider wokeness and stuff to be a plague. So he can go get screwed. I'm very, very disappointed about that. Very, very disappointed. If it's true, I don't know. I haven't confirmed it. I haven't gone and seen it for myself. I've just seen a lot of Twitter posts and Facebook posts and stuff about it. But I've yet to go and look for it myself. Go and educate yourself. Don't rely on me for your information on that regard. I don't know. I'm uninformed. I think we'll get a 5.5 before a 6th edition. The market around 5 is too huge and still growing. Third party alone is taking off. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're raking in money from 5th edition, so they've got no reason to go to 6th edition yet, by a long shot. And they seem to have a long-term goal of integrating a lot of the existing IP from Magic the Gathering and other things. And 5th edition is a really hot potato right now that is good for converting a lot of different things, and there's a lot of industry support for it amongst B-list actors or C-list actors and things like that, who see an avenue to getting their foot in the door of fame and celebrity. Did he do a Slanesh dragon yet? Did he... Morgan, are you talking about me in the third person? Did who do a Slanesh dragon? I don't know if there's really an equivalent of... I mean, that would be like a grassed dragon. So it might be... it wouldn't be a specific breed of dragon. One of the things they talked about in the Draconomicon of 2nd edition is that sometimes people will mistake a regular sort of dragon for a whole new breed of dragon. So they said a bronze dragon with a skin condition will be called a lead dragon by the local populace, when in actual fact it's just a bronze dragon, because it looks different, so they call it something new or different. Like red dragons are also flame dragons. They're also mountain dragons, you know? So they're not separate things. But somebody who is looking for creating a new stat block and a new thing will come up with a mountain dragon. Like mountain giant, for instance, are they any different from hill giants? Really? Barbara Lee, no, I haven't had any cheese this morning. I'm on a diet. Believe it or not. It's going pretty well. Lost about 5 kg so far. Just because my blood pressure was getting a bit too high. Hey, Green Scythe. Thanks, Silicone. Is there a troll dragon that regenerates and grows back limbs? I'm fully in favour of having a troll that survives on dragon flesh, mutating and becoming a hybrid between the two. So it wouldn't be a dragon troll, it would be a troll dragon. Do you have any idea where I can find monster sets for Mystara monsters? I would say go and check out D&D Beyond. Go to the Homebrew monster section and type in keywords to find the dragons that you're looking for, because I can guarantee that some people have converted the monster that you're looking for from Mystara. Kaiser Sose says, sorry, wokeness is a plague. You don't have to apologise for your opinion. You can have a differing opinion to me. Like, I'm not going to chastise you for having a differing opinion. It's just that I happen to think that there's a fantastic, huge amount of benefits to having a more diverse community in Dungeons and Dragons. It doesn't take anything away from the hobby. That's what I'm talking about. Diversity and inclusion doesn't take anything away from the hobby. It's not taking anything away. Old school players of the game have not lost a single fucking thing from inclusion, diversity, and all that sort of stuff. They haven't lost anything. Nothing. They have not lost anything. They're not threatened in any way. They can still play the game exactly how they have always played it, using whatever editions they want to. 3.5 and 2nd edition and 1st edition D&D have not gone anywhere. They're exactly the same, frozen in amber. You can play them to your heart's content forever. Nobody's taking that away from you. You don't have to go and clutch your D&D guns and be fearful of the hordes coming for you. Nobody cares how you play your game. Nobody gives a shit. Misidentifying dragons equals dragons with a complex. Then you were so screwed. Yeah, true. I'm not a bronze dragon. I'm a lead dragon. Or the opposite. A Tarask is an uber troll dragon. Could be. A tribe of kobolds that worships a green dragon affected with lycanthropy. Yep. The lore technically says that dragons can't get lycanthropy, but we do have shapeshifting in dragons. And that could go wrong. So it could emulate. You know, you could give them a curse which gives them uncontrollable shapeshifting, which is kind of like lycanthropy. So it wouldn't be transmissible like a werewolf bite, and they could fight as many werewolves as they wanted to. But dragons could have their own form of lycanthropy, if you see what I mean. Depleted uranium dragon. Yeah, if anything, diversity helps D&D, larger market, cultural influences and ideas. It's more acceptable for retailers, it's more acceptable for network television, it gives avenues for people to create whole new branches of the Dungeons & Dragons hobby, it introduces it to more mainstream audiences. You know, we've got girl guides who've got a D&D badge that they can get now. That would never have existed if we didn't have wokeness and diversity. Never. So Dungeons & Dragons is evolving. It always has. It always has. It's never been static. Is there a nickel dragon? I'm just thinking Nickelback. No, I don't think so. There might be. Something changed, get the pitchforks. Yeah, exactly. We've got a whole, yeah. A doppelganger dragon species. Song dragon looks like titanium. Yep. Well, song dragons are technically lycanthrope dragons when you think about it. I would like to see a dragon species based around sins and virtues, like the gluttony dragon and the temperance dragon. Yeah, so would I. I'd also like to see alloy dragons. Like, address the idea of, like, what happens if dragons crossbreed. Imagine if they all created the same sort of thing, like an alloy dragon, and alloy dragons had, like, a random assortment of powers. How would a dragon get that curse? Gods. Gods, why not? No. Orcs aren't racist. No, don't get that wrong. Orcs aren't racist. The way that people were representing orcs was racist. Right? That's the thought. Yeah, I've got pride dice. My Spectrum, my prismatic dice was my pride dice. And also happy Pride Month, everyone. On the few days remaining. How do I feel about the new Dragonborn options? I love more options. I love it. Like, the more you can customize and influence your stuff and custom tailor it to exactly what you want, the better. So I love lots and lots of different options. I also love random roll tables. Sir William, I would agree to that to a certain extent, but also look at the rap industry, for instance, and how homophobic it is. So don't go waving around the race banner and saying that certain races are more accepting than others, because that ain't true. Tim Simpson, thank you very much. Hey AJ, in my campaign we had a debate over Monk's Key and whether it is magic, such as when under the gaze of a beholder would a monk be able to use its key and key effects such as a stunning strike, key empowered strikes, etc. Yes, they can, because it's not magic, it's more like internal psychic power. Once I would say that if they have any sort of external effect, like being able to shoot a key blast or something, then it would sort of stop in its tracks, maybe. So it's like the opposite of Dragon Breath. In 5th edition, the Dragon's Breath is magical until it leaves its body, in which case it just becomes an energy type, which rubs a lot of people along the wrong way, because it really countermands a lot of the dragon magic and dragon artifacts and things like that from earlier editions of the game, where dragon fire was absolutely magical. Like, normal fire doesn't melt down, explode castle walls and melt fortifications and stuff like that, or temper weapons in a way that they become magical. So yeah. Oh, thanks, Ralph. Yeah, the Kickstarter's going well. It's slowed down, obviously, because I haven't got rolling out more products and things. There's a long stretch to get to the bags, unfortunately, and I don't know if we're going to get there or not. Right now, we're working out packaging and stuff like that, and all the options for the glow-in-the-dark mats and the transparent mats and the white mats and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good. The factory's been very patient with us, because it's stretched on quite a long time, and they're holding the prices on the silicon for us, which is good. Hey, thanks, Jimmy. Nickelback dragon, basically a bard dragon who kills you with sound and bad music, psychic and thunder damage. Yeah, I'll be okay with that. Dragon comes out. Look at this photograph. No. Least favorite dragon among their kind. They get so much flack, Nickelback. It's so sad. Demon Inquisition, hello, welcome. Thank you. I haven't made it to the stream in a while, but nice to see you, AJ. Just a random tidbit. Do you have the Book of Exalted Deeds from 3.5? What a great book. Much love as always. I've got it in PDF form. I don't have it on my bookshelf. Yeah, but it is a great book. Book of Vile Darkness and Book of Exalted Deeds, for sure. Poor Nickelback, yeah. Ralph, how do you feel about collaboration? Can I send you a message with my pledge? We can do chat through email for a bit. That, what? Collaboration on what? I'm a very busy guy. Talking of which, I'm going to be hosting the next D&D live roundtable. DM's roundtable. D&D YouTube roundtable. I don't know what we call it. To next Friday, I believe. So, do you have any questions that I could ask on the DM's roundtable? It's wide open. I'm hosting it, so I can ask any questions I want. What questions would you ask? Like the dungeon coach and the guys like that. Also, Ryan from Roll for Initiative, I think is going to be there. You like Nickelback when they're in high school? Yeah, I mean, they got their songs on charts, so obviously they've got fans. The Kickstarter's got another 13 days to go, I believe. I like Turtles too. Will we get more videos talking about unknown metallic dragons such as Aureum dragons? Yeah. Basically, it's in my best interest to cover all of the dragons in Dungeons and Dragons because it's very popular on my channel. Hey, thanks, Jimmy. Bard Dragon seduces you. Good luck with that one. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I also talk about dragon reproduction in the Red Dragon video, and head off a lot of those topics because I get asked about dragon reproduction all the time. Thanks, John. So do I, Sir William. Everyone secretly loves the Nickelback dragon and it ascends to godhood. Good dang it, Bobby. Would the metallic dragon be chromatic because of just how metal they aren't anymore? What? Who are you guys? What are you doing in my house? I know, we've snuck in. It's a secret meeting of the Nerd Club. Hi, Non. Yep, it's a live stream. Do you do Authors and Dragons podcast YouTube channel? No, I don't really do a lot of podcasts and stuff because I'm either writing and listening to music and I can't have people talking in my ear and be writing stuff at the same time. It's usually I'll be listening to music tracks. What would you do better? What would be better for a DM? The flexibility of a homebrew campaign or the structure of a pre-written module? Oh, that is a good question. That is an excellent question. Full marks on that one. That's excellent. That one's on the list. The Battle Dragons from 3rd edition, yeah, that's interesting too because you've got the Red Dragons who go over to the Astral Plane in service of Tiamat and Vlaakith and the Gith. And then you've got Red Dragons who are native to the Astral Plane. And you've got Battle Dragons who are native to the Astral Plane as well. So it's interesting. Mithril Dragons, yeah. You'd love a new dragon subtype for when a dragon is corrupted and changed by Far Realm influence. Well, that's not necessarily... That would be a template that you put over top of a dragon, like the Shadow Dragon template. So Shadow Dragon template, you could have something like a Elemental Dragon template, or a Celestial Dragon template, and yeah, a Far Realm Dragon template. Exalted Thieves equals politicians. Yeah, 100%. Dark Secrets of the Bees! What's the source of Vecna did nothing wrong? I bought this shirt because I generally agree with the sentiment, but I don't know the backstory. So the backstory is that Vecna is protecting people from knowledge which could destroy the multiverse. That's the general idea. So that everything that Vecna does, as extreme as it is done to protect the multiverse from waking up and freeing Tharizdun. So Vecna did nothing wrong means he's actually protecting the universe from the worst evil imaginable by being evil, essentially. So that's the story behind it. You're going to marry Dale. Oh, are you talking about Dale Kingsmill? What the hell? That's an inappropriate thing to say, dearie. Pretty sure Nickelback Dragon was the real reason Tharizdun went insane. I like it. How would a druid be evil? Essentially by prioritizing nature over any other civilization. So they would be like, they would try and destroy townsfolk and poison the water supply and things like that because they saw them cut a tree. Like, so yeah, they would see any sort of civilization as being bad and try and destroy it. So that's evil. Taking away the choice to live. Very important question. Which class uses a weapon best for picking my teeth? That would be the rogue. Dagger. Or monks. Darts are pretty good. Yeah. That's right, Great Scholar. Hello, Tiamat. Would dragons continue to wriggle around after they are slain, kind of like a snake? I'd be in favour of that, yeah. So Vecna is Doctor Doom. I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with the latest Doctor Doom to get to answer that. So Vecna would be a hero in a cosmic horror campaign. Ha ha ha. Not really. He's an anti. Like he's concerned with conserving the multiverse because he knows of the horror, right? But he's still evil. So in the grand scheme of things, what he's doing he's doing nothing wrong because he's protecting everyone. But the way he's doing it is very evil. So he's evil, but he's done nothing wrong. You know what I mean? That's the humor of it. It was a special tree. I'm the Lorax. Yeah, exactly. I.e. Poison Ivy. Perfect example. Or Greenpeace. Sea Shepherd. Yeah. It's like you're targeting to protect the fishing industry. We must blow up all of these ships, these domestic sailing vessels, to destroy the fishing industry. And it's like, well, what about all the people who are who've made their living from fishing for generations? Neutral evil druid, yeah. Well, that's lawful evil in a way because he's doing the evil for a reason, for a cause that he believes in. If he was neutral evil, he'd just be killing them because he doesn't like them. Doom is evil, but he's seen the future and knows his way is the only one that leads to world peace. Right. So, like with Doctor Strange saying that there's only one chance and we've got to do it this way, and Tony Stark just basically has to believe him. You either die the hero or unlive long enough to become the villain. Yeah. Giant flaming worm that walks that was made by a nation of necromancers, knocking out dragon and lowering it into a pit of flesh-eating maggots. John, that's another winner. Jeremy, I think Cole needs to stop receiving government bailouts. What the hell has that got to do with Dungeons and Dragons? Piss off. Lockpicks for teeth picking. Yeah, that's true. What about a druid that slays and poisons everything himself to protect it from suffering caused by Mother Nature or man? Ooh, now that would be... They don't really address crazy evil, right? Delusional evil in D&D. But that's like, how do you deal with somebody with psychosis, right, in Dungeons and Dragons? And do it with sensitivity. Tricky. Are there any famous dragons crossborn between chromatic and metallic dragons? Not as far as I know. I can investigate that for you. DM's roundtable question. If a player casts Charm Person on another player in the party, what would you allow that player to do or request from the charmed player? That's a good one. That is a good one because that says a lot about their DMing style, doesn't it? It's like, do you allow PvP spell use? Lawful depends on what law. Well, lawful could be your own laws, your own rules of living. Doesn't have to necessarily be the law of the land. It could be your own personal set of laws and stuff. Like, it's a classic a villain which is putting you through trials and tests, and if you pass their test and conform to their views, then you're okay. Roundtable question. Do ultimate villains of a campaign need to have a goal or just be chaotic? Which is more entertaining? Do campaigns need to have an ultimate villain? Or just about ultimate villains? That's a good topic. What kind of retaliation would happen if a wizard tried to summon and bind an angel? Probably nothing per se. First of all, it can happen for sure. There are circles and binding rituals and things for binding angels. Yeah, they are very powerful though. Mainly because, like, if you look at the stats of an angel or a celestial being of a high order just on its own merit, they're not necessarily that powerful. But you need to factor in the fact that they work as a team. They work as part of an army. They are a part of a strict hierarchical paramilitary force of cosmic proportions. So it may be that that angel doesn't do anything to you. It just carries on and does what it's magically compelled to do. But that doesn't stop any other angels from arriving on the prime material plane and dealing with you and freeing that angel. So probably the first thing that would happen would be, did you lock the door behind you when you tried doing that? Because another angel is going to show up and free him, or free that angel. But also, it may be ordained that is what the angel is fated to do. It may be part of a grand scheme seen through divination and scrying and all that sort of stuff, and the angel is doing what its part in what was predestined to happen. So they may seem to comply to an extreme because they believe that they have to for the greater good. What? How do I feel about player characters with horrible pun names? I have a massive soft spot for humour in my games. In fact, if we don't have a good belly laugh during this gaming session, I consider it a failure. I don't allow my players to subvert other player agency. Yeah, generally. Do I have a favourite miniature? Not really. A flesh-warped abomination formed by Migo forcibly fusing together into an angel and demon in mind, body and soul. Lawful is following a code. It doesn't need to be following laws of society. Batman is lawful. Yeah, example. Perfect example. One of my current games has no big evil bad guy. It's just an open world for the players to mess around in. Yeah. My villains usually fear something, and I build something, and I build off that. Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah, angels actually care about one another, unlike demons and devils. But also, angels are alien beings. They've gone through a process. They're on a track to godhood, essentially. Bargle must die. That's right, Pale Rider. I mean, they need to have an end, and that last villain is ultimately the ultimate villain, even if they are not connected with anything else. Well, I mean, there's some campaigns which have been going for years and years and years. They don't necessarily need to end. Like, end of the campaign for that character might be the end of that character's story. But it doesn't necessarily have to be around, we beat that big monster bad guy and now everybody lives here happily ever after until they don't. What percentage of dragons are atheists due to God complex? So dragons generally are not atheists. They know that the dragon pantheon exists. They just don't pay homage to it, which has weakened the dragon pantheon a lot. But the dragon pantheon kind of deserves it. I let one of my players play a horse named Mimi Big Pony. Okay. Binding Celestials. AJ forgot to mention that angels are often willing to negotiate service and binding if it's for the greater good. Yep. Good point, Brian. Warforged Druids basically just Transformers. Don't forget that Warforged, if you look at them in person, they're not robots. They're wood golems, so to speak. Like they have these wood fiber muscle bodies. They're like Groot. The Greed Dragon is your favourite miniature. Ah, yeah. That's probably a good point. Yeah. I am quite fond of Greed Dragon. Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Morgan. How would you describe the flood from Halo in D&D? Parasites. Alien parasites. Kind of like biological clockwork horrors in a way. Tricky. Do we have anything like that? We've got like the Zerg from Star thing. We've got the Tyranids from Warhammer 40k. Does D&D have anything like that? Biological plague entities. I don't know. That's something you really need to decide for a campaign theme, whether you're going to introduce something like that, because it could quickly run out of control. It's almost time for me to go, guys. How to deal with... Oh, that's a good topic. A Slaanesh corrupted Warforged cult obsessed with tearing body parts off of organics and modifying them to be able to feel pain, pleasure, and sensation. That's excellent, John. How to deal with players taking offense to pun names, reacting as if the player with the pun name isn't taking the game seriously. I believe in agency. Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, look at... Acquisitions Incorporated, for instance. You've got Binwin Bronzebottom, which is a classic sort of dwarf name. Then you've got Kithris Draub, which is Chris Straub's character. So it's a pun off his own name. So he drowified his own name. Then you've got Jim Dark Magic, which is definitely a pun name as well. And you've got Walnut Dankgrass. So they're pun names. All of these characters are pun names, and yet now they're part of D&D folklore. D&D lore. Omen Dran. Potentia Dran. You know? So pun names are perfectly fine, and if your player at the table have got a problem with the name of the other characters at the table, then really they've got to stick up their ass that they need to deal with. Just say, look, that's their choice. That's their choice. You ain't got no say in what their character's name is. Just stick in your lane. Stay in your lane. Andrew, I get asked that question a lot. You get dropped into the Forgotten Realms and you can be anything you want. What are you and what class? I am AJ, the Sage of Candlekeep. I'm a scholar. I'm a Sage class. Basically an NPC. That's right. Where's Moonring? That's true. Damien, thank you very much. Moonring would be proud. Since I haven't seen Moonring ask, what about an Untitled dragon? It's possible, I suppose. Almost made it. Almost made it. Yeah, just tell them to deal with it. Oh, there's Moonring. Hello, Moonring. Okay, time for me to go, everybody. Thanks. This has been a fun live stream. And next up, Red Dragon video. Big Red Dragon video. And then after that, I think possibly Shadow Demon. Catch you later.